Welcome back to Clark's Ring Rant. Let's get straight into today's video. I don't think the advice in the corner from his dad helped, and that's not the first time he's gone to the corner in a fight looking for help and guidance, and his dad's not really helped him. So that was me in my post-fight reaction video, briefly touching on how Teofimo Lopez Sr. doesn't always help proceedings in the corner. Now, we all know Teofimo Lopez lost, he was outclassed, he was outboxed. He barely won a round in there against Shakur Stevenson. He barely even laid a glove on him, matter of fact. And his dad did not help proceedings one bit. Now, we know his dad is a bit of an outspoken character, he's a bit fiery, he can be a bit controversial, and I think it's fair to say his coaching, his corner work, and his tactical advice leave a little bit to be desired. So picture this, you're headlining at Madison Square Garden, it's sold out, there's 20,000 people there, you're in the biggest and most important fight of your career to date, you're losing every round comfortably, you go back to your corner, the one person you trust, your trainer, and your dad, the one person who knows you better than anyone, and his advice is just to hit the guy. If you want to win, you've got to hit him. What would your thought process be then? What would be going through your head? Because I know what would be going through my head. I'd be like, Dad, what the hell? I'm losing every round. Surely you must have seen something. That's why I have a trainer. It's a second pair of eyes. It's a second opinion. You can tell me what I'm doing wrong, and maybe I can make some adjustments to get back in this fight. Now, I don't for 1 minute think Teofimo Lopez was going to win that fight, and probably any tactical adjustments he did make wouldn't have made a difference anyway. We saw him go to the body a bit more in the 8th and 9th round, but Shakur Stevenson quickly negated that, and it was just more of the same. So it probably wouldn't have made a difference, but come on, his dad could have at least tried to give him something. Instead, he just said, you've got to hit him. If you hit him, you can win. And it's a bit like in the George Kambosos fight where he was just screaming, hit him, and you'll knock him out, as if George Kambosos is some road sweeper from New York who they've just dragged in off the street as an opponent. Pretty naive. And this suggested to me Team Lopez, especially his dad being his chief trainer, didn't come up with much of a game plan for this fight. They thought they were just going to bowl into the arena, knock Kambosos out and get on with their lives, but obviously that wasn't the case. They ended up losing. And from this point on, alarm bells were ringing in my head in terms of Teofimo Lopez Sr. and his ability as a coach, because his corner work on that night was rubbish, to say the least. And he's had some good wins since then, but this issue of his advice has reared its ugly head once again in the Shakur Stevenson fight. The best part about all this is that wasn't even the stupidest comment that Teofimo Lopez Sr. made all night in the corner. He come out with some absolute belters, to be fair. In between one of the rounds, he just said to Teo simply, where's your power gone? Where has your power gone? As if he can't punch, and if he did punch, and he could still punch, he'd just be able to knock Shakur Stevenson out, which we all know isn't the case. I did question Teofimo Lopez. Has he carried his power up to 140? I'm not sure, but he's never been known as a one-punch knockout artist. So again, what sort of advice is that from his dad, making him fall in love with his power, even though he knows it's not enough to get through fights, especially a fight of this magnitude? I can't remember word for word what he said, but he said something along the lines of, you're going to regret this in the morning, or you're going to be so ashamed of yourself. Something like that. Some more just crazy corner advice, and not exactly words of wisdom you need when you're getting whooped in there, you're losing every round, you go back to your corner. That's the last thing you need to hear. Just think of Teddy Atlas giving Michael Moorer the fireman's speech against Evander Holyfield, really pumping him up for it, making him think he can do it, making him believe he can do it. Or Buddy McGirt when Callum Smith fought Joshua Buatsi last year. That speech when he sent him out for the final round, that is what you need when your back's up against the wall in a fight. You need your cornerman to motivate you, give you the belief, and make you think you're going to win. Because you might not win, but if you think you're going to win, you've got a lot more chance than someone coming in there and saying you're going to be so embarrassed in the morning. That's just terrible, terrible corner advice. You know what he reminds me of, actually? He reminds me of, when you used to play sport as a kid, be it football, cricket, rugby, tennis, baseball, whatever sport you played, depending what part of the world you're in. And there was always that one dad on the sidelines just absolutely screaming at his kid, whatever he did, like calling him rubbish, saying it's not good enough, offering no encouragement or constructive criticism, just yelling at him for the full match. And then he comes off and he tells him how disappointed he is in his performance. And then the kid just ends up falling out of love with whatever sport it is, or they're just so nervous and desperate to perform well in front of the dad, they can't even concentrate. That is what Teofimo Lopez Sr. reminds me of. If I were Teo, listen, I know it's your dad, I know it's difficult, but if you want to progress, it's a miracle you've got this far with him in your corner based on some of the advice and the pearls of wisdom I've heard him come out with. You need to move on, you need to get rid of him, you need to cut ties. Listen, it's business. Family should stay out of it ideally. And you'd find yourself a new trainer and a new training team, because Teo has got so much potential, he's got so much talent, he's got so much athleticism, and he's not going to be able to unlock it all with his dad in his corner. If you can get a good trainer, he can go through the levels. I believe he can move up and win a world title at 147, but his dad's got to go. We can't be having a repeat of this. It's happened twice now, the Kambosos fight, and here again. When his back's been up against the wall, when he's needed a good trainer the most, his dad has let him down. So if it was up to me, I'd say he's got to go, Teo. But let me know what you think. What should Teofimo Lopez do? What do you think about his dad's crazy comments during the fight? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.